Today's the big day. We're officially starting sleep training. Okay, Alex. Olivia's gonna start sleep training this week. You need to sleep with us, okay? We need to let her have the room all to herself because she's gonna be crying a lot. She's 7 months old now, and we meant to do this last month, but because we went back to Taka's parents' house for New Year's, Olivia was kind of like thrown off her game. You know, she wasn't on a routine anymore. So I wanted to wait until we got back to Tokyo and got back into a normal routine before we could sleep train her. She's already actually quite fussy, so she is definitely getting sleepy. We're gonna give her a nice warm bath and give her lots of lovies. Make sure she's fed, but make sure she doesn't fall asleep at the breast. Going to make sure that she is well fed, she's not thirsty, she's not hungry, she's loved, but that she's still awake. It's very important that I put her to sleep when she is still awake. Before bed, why don't we read a book together? Yeah, this is the book I used to read to Alex when I was sleep training him. That's right. Yes, it is. Okay, we just finished reading her bedtime story and now it is time to go to bed. I just put her to bed and said, I love you. Now I'm gonna try to be as quiet as possible so she doesn't hear my voice. So far, she's not crying. So she's started crying. Yeah, she's kind of screaming, but she's not exactly crying. But they're gonna turn into tears. It's gonna turn into full-fledged crying for sure. It's been a few minutes and she's crying. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in, pat her a little bit on her belly or on her chest. Reassure her that mommy's close by, and then I'm gonna leave her alone. Then I'm gonna go back. If she's still crying, I'll go back and do that again after 5 minutes, and then I'll do it again after like 10 minutes. And then every time I'll just make the intervals longer and longer. She seems to have stopped crying. It took about 30 minutes. I'm gonna give it another couple minutes, then I'm going to just make sure that she's okay. So she's finally down, she is asleep. I just went in to check on her. And she is peacefully sleeping. She's fine, she's breathing. It took about 30 to 35 minutes, and we went into her room about 4 times just to reassure her. Now, the question now is, what are we gonna do at night? She usually wakes up around 2 a.m. and then maybe at 5 a.m. But usually I just give her a quick breastfeeding and I put her back down and she's fine. However, I'm trying to get her out of the habit of relying on being breastfed in order to go to sleep. So what we're gonna do is, if she does start crying during the night, Taka's gonna go in and sort of pat her on the chest and send her, give her loving words, because she doesn't associate him with breast milk or breastfeeding. So we'll see how long this takes. Hopefully it only takes like 3 days. That's supposed to be how long it takes. Okay, day 2 of sleep training. After we put Olivia to sleep at about 8 o'clock, she woke up again at around midnight. She was crying, so Taka went into the bedroom, patted her on her chest, comforted her a little bit, and it worked. She went right back to sleep. Then she woke up again at about 5 a.m. and again she cried for about half an hour, even though Taka kept going in to pat her on her chest. Then finally at about 7 a.m. I could hear that she was tossing and turning, so I went in and just woke her up. So she had sort of a tough night. She kept waking up. She didn't have any breast milk to soothe her to sleep, but she still got back to bed, okay. Today she has been sleeping a lot. I think it's because she was tired from last night. Right now though, it's about 5 p.m. and Alex and Olivia are just playing. They're having fun and she seems to be in a good mood. Yay! Yay, Olivia. Good girl. Yay, you're clapping. It seems that one of the most important things in sleep training your baby is a routine. So you have to make sure that you put her to bed with the same routine every night. So Miss Olivia is about to take a bath. Breastfed her and read to her a little bit, and now I'm going to put her in her crib. All right, let's see how tonight goes. Okay, so I put her down in her crib and she cried a little bit, but then she stopped crying. And it's been about a minute, she hasn't cried. Oh, no, there she is. She's crying a little bit. She's crying. Okay, so she's been crying for 5 minutes now. Taka's gonna go in and pat her a little bit on the chest and console her a little bit, and then he's gonna come back out. It's heartbreaking hearing your baby cry for 5 minutes. It's been about 2 hours since she falls asleep, and we keep checking in on her, and she is fine. It looks like on day 2, it took like 5 minutes for her to go to sleep. She still cried. She did cry for 5 minutes, and it was a very, very painful 5 minutes. I'm hoping that crying isn't going to be part of her normal bedtime routine. That wouldn't make sense. That wouldn't be very nice at all. So let's see how she does tomorrow. Today, I mean, wasn't as bad as yesterday. It was definitely much better. Night 3 of sleep training is about to begin. We are about to give Miss Olivia a bath. Yes, we are. And we're being extra careful to stick to this routine that we have. What do you think? Are you gonna cry tonight? Are you gonna cry tonight? What do you think? Okay, now we're gonna read a bedtime story. We finished our bedtime story, and now we are going to go to bed. That's right. Can you say goodnight, everybody? We're hoping that there will be very little crying. She started crying, and keeping an eye on the clock. She's already been crying about a minute. Actually, I think she stopped crying. Taka, she stopped crying. I went to check in on Olivia after about 5 minutes, just because I was a little worried, and she was sound asleep. So the first night she cried about 30 to 35 minutes. Yesterday she cried about 5 minutes, and today she cried about a minute or a minute and a half. So it's getting better. Maybe that means tomorrow she won't cry at all. I don't know. Hard to imagine, but we shall see. So far so good. We'll keep you updated. We just finished reading. Alex joined us today. Now it's time to go to bed. Let's hope tonight goes even better than last night. I put her down and she was fine. Then I closed the door, and I think it took her about a minute to realize that I wasn't coming back. So she did cry. It's a little less than yesterday, but still, she did cry a little. I don't know, hopefully tomorrow she won't cry at all. We've had one successful week of sleep training. So now it's time for Alex to get back in his room. It's been about a week. She's pretty much sleep trained. She sleeps right when I put her down, and she doesn't cry. Yeah, she's a big girl. She doesn't cry. And I will have a sleep training night routine video up a little bit later. We're going to put her to sleep now. Alex, Olivia's going down. We're putting Olivia down in her crib, so be quiet, okay? No big voices, okay.
Good night, Liv.
Alex, listen, come here, wait, no, hold on. Olivia is asleep in your room, okay? She's asleep in your room. If you're loud or if you make a noise, she's gonna wake up and she's gonna be really sad. So what are you gonna be? Quiet like a ninja, that's right. Okay. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right?
No, here. You are doing
I'm
it
so
like
confused.
this, like here.
The first night was the worst. 本当にひどかったね. She cried for like half an hour.
2時間ぐらい泣いたな。
No, it's 35 minutes. It feels like 2 hours. そんな感じがするよね。本当に、because she's crying all the time. Like she's just crying and it's horrible and it's heartbreaking. So, 2時間って感じだよね、確かに。So, the first night she cried herself to sleep. ね、泣き疲れて寝たね、多分。1日目は。Probably. And the second night, it was like 5 minutes. She cried, but it was like 5 minutes. Then the third night was like 1 minute. And then like the fourth and fifth night, it was like 30 seconds. And now, after about the 6th or 7th night, I've lost track, but now I put her down and she's fine. She just goes like, okay, well, whatever, good night. I have no recollection of this. I totally forgot this. And Taka was just telling me this. It's so interesting.
すごかったよ。だって俺たちも別れたの。どうしたら、愛車は知っとうかもしれないけど、俺はそれ反対やったじゃん。要は一人で寝せるの。で、結局、ね、ちょっと泣いたら見に行って、ちょっと泣いたら見に行ってしょったから、なかなかずっと泣きよったのを覚えてる。3回ぐらいトライしてみた。
We tried like 3 different methods.
間違いなくオリビアの場合は成功してる。うまいこと言ってる。
言ったよね。
でもアレックスはやっぱダメだったね。
So it does depend on your child. I did a lot of research and I read that it works for most kids.
ワークはするよ。時間がかかるかかからないか。
Oh, okay, yeah.
アレックスの場合は3回ぐらいトライした。
But it worked eventually. そのうちにうまくいったよね。今まで寝れる一人で。
うまくはいくけど、やっぱ僕たちもやり方知られたわけね。でもオリビアの場合はもうやり方分かってるから、いくら泣いてもいかないみたいな。自分たちは
強くなったね、だからね。
制御する。アレックスの場合は。
あの動画探そうかね。本当に最初は、アレックスの時に大丈夫。He was mad at me. There's research that says it's good for the child, it's okay for the child. There's some research that says it's not good for the child. And then there was other research that said that it's good for the parents because it reduces stress. So we don't know. After 1 year with Alex and after doing it with Olivia, I can say for sure it makes our lives easier. 本当に楽. Like you put them to bed at 8 o'clock or at 8:30, their bedtime.And that's it. You're free for the night. You're free.
そういう意味ではネントレはもうやった方がいい。
For the parents, it's really great.
親がねハッピーやったら子供もハッピーになる。
Right, and that's the thing. もし自分がもう耐えられない、自分の時間がないとダメとか寝たいとか本当におかしくなりそうだったら、それは何日頑張ってちょっとかわいそう泣くけどかわいそうっていうでもやっといた方がいいんだよね。だってママとかパパがおかしくなったらもう家族全員みんなおかしくなるでしょ。
無理はせん方がいいから。
Right. But just do whatever you want to do, whatever feels comfortable. That's the main thing. ルーティンが必要。
ルーティンが必要。
This is something all of the research said. This is something my friends have told me. They've done sleep training. You have to maintain a routine. We eat dinner at the same time. We bathe Olivia at the same time. We read to her. I read to her and then I put her down like at the exact same time pretty much every day. And she's very, very, very comfortable with that.
ルーティンはね。
Yeah, the routine, you gotta keep it. Yeah, you gotta keep the routine. だから最近出かける時も帰ってくるのも早くなったよね。昔はね、まあいいんじゃない？
外出かけて。それで
うまいこといかなかった。
3回やり直して。
多分ね、because まあいっか、ちょっと映画館行こうかとか、ちょっとあれしようかで帰りは11時になった。
実家に帰った時とかも。
実家に帰る時ね、この間アレックスずれたよね。
そう来たでしょうから。結局ネントレをする1年間はもうルーティン変えない方がいい。
本当に変えない方がいいんでね。本当に自立につながるかどうかってまだ研究には見えてないんだよね。誰もわかんないこと。
自立って言ったら自立に近い感覚ではあると思うけどね。その辺はちょっとわからんけど。
I can tell Alex, like, oh, you're sleeping like a big boy. Oh, you're sleeping in your own bed, you know. He's conscious. 意識してるよね。大人なんだって、お兄ちゃんなんだって意識してるよね。He's conscious of being independent.
自分をコントロールするっていう力がつくのかもしれない。
Yeah, could be. I feel like it could be.
親に言われてどうのこうのっていうよりも自分から寝れるようになるまでが早ければ自分で自分を制御するっていうのは早い段階で身につくのかもしれない。
かもしれないね。でもそれ研究じゃないね。We have no idea. This is just our feeling after doing it with Alex. But we're not doing sleep training for Jiritsu. We're not doing sleep training to make him an independent person or anything. It's just, it made our lives so much easier. It's just, life is fun now. We have time after, look, it's 8:45. There's two of us. There's just two of us. We can
自由な
work.
時間がで
It's
き
freedom.
多分分かる人は分かると思う
なんで子供作るのって絶対言われるね、誰かに。
分かる人は分かると思う
時間が、自分の時間が欲しい。Okay, so good job with Olivia. Yeah, let's keep up the
う
routine.
まいこと言ったね
Yeah?
早かった
We're getting good. もう3人目どうする ?3 人目。一番いやいやって言ってる人。Okay, well, I hope that helped you guys. It gave you a little bit of, I don't know, something to think about. As always, leave your comments in the comments section. I'm sure a lot of you are not going to agree with this video and the way we did it, but it worked. It
まあそれ
worked.
ぞれ考えある
Yeah,
しね
everybody's different and do what feels comfortable for you.
Yes
Yes, okay. All right, bye.